I am live, it says, but I don't believe I am. Not for everyone else. Now, now I'm live. Good morning, Mike. Well, buddy, I'm going to tell you something. I would have had donuts today. However, my wife threw a wrench in that plan. Let's see if she mentions it. You see, she brought up something new. There she is. Speaking of her, good morning, Miss Brenda. Tell Mikey why I didn't go get donuts this morning. Carol, what is that besides your good morning, Brenda? Beside your good morning, Brenda. A snail? A seashell? I bet it's a seashell. You know, she's not baking me some. There's your answer, Mike, right there. She's wanting me to take her out for banana stuffed French toast, which the last time we had that was probably in Kona Cafe at the Polynesian. Man, was it good though? Wow. I don't know if they still sell that there or not. Let's go, Mike. We'll wait on you. If you can get down here, in a couple hours, hop in your jet and just bring it down. Yeah, Carol. Hey, Diana. Good morning. Your husband just said you guys are going to come down. We're all going to run to Disney World to get banana stuffed French toast for. Well, let's be safe and just call it for tomorrow's breakfast. Oh, were you waving to Carol? Yeah, he waved, but he's not ready to make an appearance yet, Carol. In fact, he probably wants me to move my arm. Well, come on, camera. What's going on? There we go. I moved it and touched something this morning, and it's done that twice now. I may have a big fingerprint on it or something. It's a 2-hour flight from our house to your house. Okay. Well, we'll meet you at the airport then. That's cute. Car key. I get that. I'm not very good with emoji stuff. Some of them are not. Some of them don't make much sense to me. Look at Mike being all husbandy and lovey-dovey and loving up to Diana. I hope that works out for you, bud. How is everybody today? Mike, did you guys get the snowstorm? Seems like you were waiting on a snowstorm, or maybe it already started. Do the morning weather check. Don't know if Marcus will be here or not, which may mean our talk today will be off, but I may do it anyway. I had something for him, but that I thought he would like, but he may not be here. I'll have to dock him some pay for this weekend. I need to talk to Garrett. I need to figure out how Garrett talked all of us into being mods for him and then started charging us to work for him, because I'm having to pay out to get that kind of action. Oh, it didn't come as hard as they thought, but I got paid to go to work and play cards. So, good morning, Doug. Oh, okay. Well, that's probably for certainly a worthy cause. Where are they going? Locally or out of town? You're in Pennsylvania. I don't know. 47 degrees and drizzle at Carkey's house. Hey there, Teddy's Paws. He said hi again. Why don't you get up and stand up and say hi? Huh? Not right now. Not ready yet. Hello, Wall. Who sang that song? Hello, Wall. That sounds like a George Jones kind of thing, but I don't know. Well, Doug said he couldn't hang around, so he may already be gone, but. Yep, there he was. Okay, thanks, Doug. We'll look for it. Yeah, we had some rumbles and some rain. There was a chance of some nasty weather here yesterday or last night, but it didn't happen. Thank goodness. Well, I say it didn't happen. We just got the rumbles enough to worry poor Chloe to death, but not enough to do much here. I don't know if anybody else around got anything last night or not. I didn't see any local news this morning or didn't pay attention to it. But I think I'd have heard that, so I don't believe anything did. Bill? Yeah, Carol, if it would stay 60 something degrees and like this, that'd be great. But I bet it gets, I think they're calling for mid to upper 80s. I don't know if it'll get there or not, but we're already getting too hot, as far as I'm concerned. A lot of stuff that you look for in the spring's already bloomed out and gone. Tree wise, I'm glad they didn't get frostbitten. Hopefully the oak nuts will be good this year for critters. I think we had a bumper crop last year, actually. Some of our trees dropped a ton on the driveway. Diana says we're going to have some space weather this week. What do you mean by that? Aurora? Brenda, you're my witness. You were down here with me for 45 minutes or so. You didn't see me yawn one time, did you? Oh, you look it up? Fair and Young. Okay. I just remember that part. That's the only part I remember. Hello, Walls. It's me again or something. I need to be like Chris Christopherson and Sunday morning sidewalks. Sunday morning sidewalks. Something like that. It was one of his first big hits, and he didn't sing it. Somebody else did, I believe. Maybe after me and Bobby McGee. I've got 6 big pots of creeping phlox that I need to get planted. Oh, yeah, you do. That's true. So, Diane, I'm still waiting to know what space weather. What do you mean by space weather? Oh, excuse me. I don't know if she's in here or not, but hey, Tina, if you're listening, good morning. I don't know if Ian will make it with us today or not. I hope he does. Solar storm should produce a. Oh, yeah. Cool. I bet it will. I bet that'll be neat. That's what I see. That's what I tell people. I don't start till I start talking. Must be using up all my oxygen talking, not taking good breaths. Anybody got any birthdays or anything going on? Hey, Carol. I know you're a mod, yeah. If you don't mind, would you cut and well, wait a minute. You know what? I might have it right here. I do. I think it'll let me post it in here. This is that's adventures uh, adventures by D. You guys I know Carol was there, and Mike might have been there. If you hadn't been over by there, take a swing through there and check out the video they did yesterday. They were live at the Magic Kingdom, and I didn't see it till they were already come and gone. But I got online and sent them a message, and I've watched most of it. I was actually finishing it up this morning, but in fact, it's running right now, and I forgot to turn it off. I have a cam on barred owls. It's supposed to be live, but I've not seen barred owl yet. So I'm not going to worry about that part. Sorry, my eyes started watering. Maybe something to do with yawning. What did Diana say? I don't have birthdays anymore. Well, okay. What do you celebrate any particular day during the year? Just for you. We don't have to call them birthdays. We can just call them Di days or Diana days. There's a rock band I follow. It's 3 sisters, and their names are Alejandra, Paulina, and Danielle. I don't think it's Danielle. I think it's just Danielle. Anyway, but they go by Danny, Paul, and Allie. So they have Allie days and Paul days, and Danny days when they get on and do live stuff or post stuff online. So I figure if they can have, personal days, we should be able to do that too. Life suddenly got cheaper around here. What? How so, Mike? Oh, birthdays. That's a good point, Mike. Yeah, no birthdays, no gift buying, no parties, none of that stuff. So I'm going to declare today to be Diana Day, and it can be again tomorrow. It don't matter. Mike, are you making everybody use less toilet paper? No, he's not going to celebrate Diana's birthdays anymore. Mike, I get it. She said it. She doesn't have them anymore, so why would you celebrate them? Carol says that I would not try out the no gifts thing. Come on, Mike. How they put that? No pain, no gain, or no. What's the race? There's a race car driver named Takuma Sato. He races Indy cars, and he has a saying he's famous for. It's like no risk, no. Well, this would be for this: no risk, no gain. But he says it differently, like no charge, no win, or no something. I don't know. Ian, there you are, buddy. What do you mean snow? How much snow did you get? I think Mark, if he doesn't make it today, and right now I don't know that he will. I got a couple of texts. I haven't heard from him since first of the week, and hadn't talked to him. Well, maybe I did one, maybe Tuesday night or something. I might have heard from him. Anyway, I hadn't talked to him or heard from him in several days, and he sent me a couple of texts yesterday. He said their phone systems were broke down, and sometimes he can text me when he can't call me. I don't wish somebody'd really explain how that works. I guess it uses less bandwidth to send a text than it does to make a phone call, maybe. Anyway, and when so I figured they may have been getting a snowstorm too, because sometimes that knocks everything out. Sometimes it knocks out his internet too, because it'll block his satellite or his cable or whatever they use. So he may not be here. Okay, Mike, and Carol, I'm going to tell you a story. Oh, Carol, wait a minute. Carol's got some. I feel like Mike's unkind comment entitles Diana to at least one new dog, some chocolate, and flame. What? Wait a minute. That's not fair. Diana's the one that said she's not celebrating. She doesn't have birthdays anymore. Mike merely addressed that fact by saying, well, that'll save us some money, which is a good thing for the family budget and all that kind of thing. And now Mike's having to pay for that. I don't think that works out. That math don't add up to me. But let me tell you a little story, Mike. I'll get this all right. I used to work with a gentleman named, well, maybe his name isn't important. But he was from Southwest Virginia, and he grew up in the coal fields of Southwest Virginia. And so he talked like a true kid from Southwest Virginia coal mine country. But he was a super guy, really smart, and in fact he still works there. He was a fisheries biologist, and he got into some of that kind of watershed work and that sort of thing. But after he'd been working with us for 2 or 3 years, he got married. So on the very first honeymoon they went on, he and his wife talked about they were going to go rent a cabin at the lake, and they were going to just, cruise the lake and maybe get some sun and do a little fishing. That was part of the deal, do fishing. And and he thought and assumed, properly assumed, that would be the whole idea. And Diana's family budget should include Diana presents. Well, not if you're in but Mike's talking about saving money. I don't know if he can save money if he does that, but I guess if you want to be really mean, I guess you could say no donuts would save you money to buy you things. The snow made me late to get to a YouTube show. Makes perfect sense. It does to me. I think I'll declare that I'm not having any more birthdays after this one, but Tim's already bought me something, so oh well. Yeah, oh well. Sorry, Tim, I'm going to side with the women every time. Yeah, I figured that out, Carol. The union of women is far stronger than any labor union I've ever known to ever had anything to do with. And she's agreeing 100% with Diana. See what I mean? That's somehow that's not fair. I think even if there was like 5 men in here and 3 women, I'm pretty sure we'd still be outnumbered. I tell you why, but I can't do that here publicly. So anyway, my friend they were planning their trip. So in his mind, that was their anniversary gift to each other. They were going to go spend the week, just them together on the lake and just have fun and get away from everything and, do some fishing. He fishes a fair bit. And I think she liked to fish, or at least he thought she did. But Brenda could tell you us men get in trouble for that all the time, assuming that you might like to do something we do. And not all the time, but sometimes. For example, Diana, she thinks Mike ought to be buying her stuff. Mike may not be, totally in sync with that. But there you go. Anyway, oh God, his name's right on the tip of my tongue. He's on YouTube, or he's on probably on Instagram. I could look him up, but anyway, so he was visiting with his in-laws for some reason, and his mother-in-law, asked him, "What are you getting?" I don't think I ever met his wife, so I don't know what her name. What are you getting her for your anniversary? To which he said, "Well, nothing. I mean, we're going to the lake and getting a cabin, and we're going to take off a week, and that's our gift to each other." And she said, "Oh," she said, "that's not no. You need to get her something." He said, "Well, no, we talked about this. I'm pretty sure we're not getting each other anything." So he thought about that, and then he went to another wizened older employee, and he asked him about this conundrum he was in about this gift for his wife and all that. And he found out, by the way, Tim, I hope y'all also budgeted for gifts for International Seamstress Day, World Aquarium Keepers Day, and National Banana Field French Toast Lover Day. Can you give me those dates, Carol? I'll try to do the best I can. Just because day. Now you're making them up. Diana loved our first Christmas together, the gift I got her. I don't even want to know what that is. Or do I? I probably do, actually. Brenda's going to add that to her calendar now. Thanks. Like I said, see what I mean? They gang up. They've got this real pack mentality. So anyway, he went to this other guy. God, why can't I not think of names right now? I'm going to have to start taking some of that memory medicine. And Bucky told him, he said, he said, man, he said, you're probably in trouble. He said, you got to remember something. If you're ever in doubt, he said, you got to get at least one of the 3 S's. He said, that's the only thing that's going to save you every time. And he said, what are the 3 S's? He said, I don't understand. He said, that's the 3 S's: smelly, perfume and that sort of thing, or silky, pajamas, sheets, clothes, or shiny, aka, new jewelry. He said that'll usually get you out of trouble. He bothered. New tires for your car. Well, I'm sure you appreciated that at the time. Wrap them at least and put them underneath. Oh boy, I bet that made a nice pile, didn't it, Mike? It really filled up under the tree. I like that. I did that. I kind of did that to Brenda one time. But you wrapped them. That's probably a better job than I would have done. By the time she got to open them, could you smell that fresh new rubber smell? Did that give it away? That would have been one of the 3 S's. Be smelly. I guess it could have been worse. He could have bought you tires for one of his cars. Yeah, you have to be careful about that. You can't you got to be that can't push that edge too far out there. Oh, now we all understand why I no longer have birthdays. Yeah, maybe I do. Maybe I'm on your side a little bit more than I thought. They were Yokohama tires. They weren't cheap. I bet they weren't. Oh, did you videotape that by any chance, Mike? I'd kind of like to see that. And if it went well, then the rest of us could maybe learn from that. Hey, Tony, welcome in. We're just talking about, Diana's Day and, saving money by not celebrating birthdays, that sort of thing. And then we all found out that Mike gave his wife a brand new set of tires one year for her birthday or Christmas. I guess it was her birthday. No, Christmas, I believe. I thought that was a, well thought out, wonderful gift. Or at least I thought it was funny. Oh, me. What was that hot rod car you had, Mike? Oh gosh, I can't remember. Wasn't it a what was that model? A Le Mans or something like that you got, and it had the big tires on the back. Mike's got all the donuts, Tony. You'll have to see Mike today. Well, he may have. We can't prove that one where the 83 Pro Street Cutlass. Yeah, that one. You could have bought her a set of tires for your car. That was probably wouldn't have been cheap either, though, especially those rears. The stupid car. Yeah, you can call it that, but I'm thinking it was fast. If nothing else, it got you to the next red light real quick. Tim, I understand about the 3 S's of gift giving. I prefer the 3 C's, though. Chocolate, coffee. Well, I think I can get that too. It's an interesting way you spell that last one, though. Kind of inventive. Although I'm a little concerned about how your kids might be spelling their names in school. Oh. Well, I might as well tell. Well, should I tell that one? Well, Brenda, tell them what I got you for one of our first Christmases. They'll appreciate that. I think. You know what? I didn't comb. I probably should have combed my hair again. There we go. I'm going to get my beard trimmed. It's getting a little wild around the edges. I had to make beer into a word that starts with a C. I kind of figured that out, but I thought that was pretty inventive. I even knew how to pronunciate that correctly to make it sound right. Oh yeah, Carol, there you go. Cerveza. Por favor. Well, look there, Tony and Carol, great minds thinking alike. Oh, I need to get Diana's comment about the stupid car down. We don't want people to get the wrong idea. Well, it seemed like it got really quiet down here. I guess if I shut my mouth. So if I'm not talking and a tree falls in the forest, could we hear it? Cedar Point. Tony's headed to Cedar Point. Brenda's been to Cedar Point. I've never been to Cedar Point. Isn't that near Sandusky, Tony? Or am I getting that? Am I the wrong park? Will you be there when it opens? Is that a season opening? I mean, are they open? Hey, buddy, you want to say hi? No, he don't. Maybe after this nap, when he gets through with this part of his nap. He does have some of that kind of wording in his contract. And he shall be allowed at least 2 naps during the morning show. And tell everybody you were up early this morning. If I had volume for you guys, you could talk to him, Carol. I bet he'd stand up and pay attention. They say Tony says we're planning on it, Mike. Probably not much of a live stream, though. The entertainment doesn't start up till end of May. Yeah, I think Dollywood is probably doing that. I know they're firing up right now for the season because they've been advertising for jobs, and I got something in the mail a couple of days ago about last chance to buy season tickets. I was thinking about looking into that this year in case we had company like you guys. If any of you guys decided to come to Tennessee this year sometime, we could all go up there and have cinnamon bread and a bowl of beans or something. Now that I know what kind of gifts these men buy, I think we'll just treat ourselves to a ladies' meetup. Oh, well, you go right ahead. I do too, Mike. I really think we should do that. I think we should talk about that seriously. I mean, if we have to meet, I don't know which one we'd go to. You guys have to travel the furthest, but I'm gonna guess you'd probably fly. Um, I don't know how far it is from here to Carol's house. It might be 10 hours, 8 maybe. Probably 10, probably closer to 10. I haven't measured that off. I've made that trip once, but it's been a long time ago. A lot of changes at Cedar Point. Oh, really? There's, well, not trying to tell us about them if you have time, and what kind of things are going on. I know Dollywood's got a new big roller coaster they've been advertising a lot. In fact, it was just on a little bit ago, and it's called the Big Bear Ride or Lost Grizzly or something. Ian said, just introduced a co-worker to Dang Me by Roger Miller. Well, that's good. Good for you, Ian. People like that need to be educated on songs. Oh, Brenda says she received a gun. Technically, you received a revolver. I took a bit of flack over that from everybody, because everybody figured that I just bought it for her, but it was really just for me. I've probably shot it a lot more than her. The Hollywood season passes are really affordable. We looked them up a couple of weeks ago. Really, and you know what? I didn't even look, Mike. I thought about getting one because the way it works, at least down here, if one of us bought a season pass, Brenda or I think Brenda could go for half price as long as she went with me. I think they've got a friends and family kind of deal, and I can't remember exactly how it works. We used to get annual passes when the kids were here and younger. We just haven't done it lately. I've received several guns over the years for my birthday, anniversary, Christmas, or just because. Well, I don't know if I'd call it several. Maybe 3. All revolvers are guns, but BLN or all guns are revolvers, correct? Wait a minute now. All revolvers are guns, but BLN or all guns are revolvers, correct? Well, all revolvers technically are guns, I guess. That'd be correct. I'm not sure what's BLN. Several restaurants are gone. A new spinning family coaster. Oh my. Construction on a closed coaster. And I'm hearing change in some of the entertainment. Well, that's too bad. I wonder why they're losing the restaurants. You'd think that would be important to have something there. I mean, if you want to get people in there and stay all day, you need something. All revolvers are guns, but not all guns are revolvers. Yes, that's true. Or you could say you could say all revolvers are pistols, but not all pistols are revolvers. But technically, that's not completely true. While there's no revolving rifles built today, there were some at one time. Typically, they've been kind of heavy, but the new one I just got is very lightweight, so I think I will like shooting. I hope you do. Yes, Dollywood isn't cheap, but it's very affordable compared to Disney. It's a clean, fun park with some great coats. They really have ramped up on the coasters. Excuse me. I got something in my throat. And Tony says, they changed some entertainment a few years ago and it was great, so I'm excited. One of my favorite performers is friends with Gaston now. He's the Beauty and the Beast show backed by Fantasmic. Wait a minute, I'm off track here. Are you talking Disney now or are you talking Cedar Point? Sorry, I was thinking about something. So you have to clear that up for me, Tony. You've been in contact with. I'm really lost here. You've been in contact with his mom. Tim, the guy who used to work at Cedar Point, now works at Disney. One of my favorite in there. Oh! I got it. I'm back up to speed. I didn't think I had lost it completely this morning. Well, that's cool. What kind of entertainment do they have there generally? Is it, song and dance kind of things? Is that, I mean, that's usually what you get, or shows similar like in Disney. I know that, well, it's probably a different thing because it was a different kind of theme park, but when Opryland was going, they had all kinds of musically and oriented, entertainment for people to sit down and take a listen, and they were usually pretty good, and usually had the areas where you could see were usually fairly large because a lot of people went there for the entertainment. It had some good rides. They only had one roller coaster. They had a log flume, and then they put in something called the Delta Dragon, I think, but it really wasn't a roller coaster. It was fun, but it wasn't real fast. And then they had the flying chairs, and they had one air barnstormer that was kind of like the chairs that spin around, sling you out on the chains. But this went way up higher in the sky. It looked like little biplanes you were sitting in. Song and dance. They do also have bands all over the park through the summer. Well, that's neat too. Yeah, Carol's good at that. She helps keep me straight here. There's no doubt about that. She's right on the ball with that. It's amazing how well I pay attention when I'm sitting on the couch and not cleaning my kitchen. Well, that does help, Carol. A new coaster at Dollywood looks like, yeah, it does. Brenda, we need to go because Brenda, I may not be able to do coasters, but Brenda will want to, and she loves coasters. I like coasters too, as a rule. Although, I mean, I'll admit that there might be a limit to how many times I can ride in a given day, but she would ride them and ride them and ride them. Comes in handy when teaching little ones, I'm sure. There's a Dollywood is about, I don't know, she's bought some more property, I think, because I was thinking she'd about, hey, John, welcome in, Surf Bum. I was thinking she'd about filled up her holler back in there where she's got several of the roller coasters, but she's expanded more, so she must have bought more property, which would make sense, I guess. Beautiful here, beautiful day. Got me some clams. Oh, you got some clams this morning. Oh, okay. Well, I'll look for that. Did that go to my Instagram, John? Let's see if I can pull that up. Well, where's that? Found a fox. Oh, wow. Nice little pan full there, John. Hey, with me in the background. That might spoil your whole dinner right there. And a Mickey Mouse coffee cup, I do believe. And some pink salt in the background. That's cool. I guess if I put that over there, I could share it. I don't know if anybody else has seen it, but if you like clams, let me see if I can share that. There you go. How about that, John? Coasters are good, Diane. Like I said, I like them too, but I don't know if I'll be able to do them much anymore. Agreed, Diana was upset my daughter got to ride Velocicoaster again, and you haven't. Ian, have you ridden? Well, I don't know. I guess you're talking about MGM or not MGM, but Universal. Oh, the Harry Potter one, the motorcycles, Hagrid. Bandwagon's still not open. I'm 37. Okay. I'll do away with that. I guess since we seem to be the ones that are here, I like the wooden back killer ones. Well, that's a good. I've wanted to ride some more old ones too, Diana, because I've ridden a couple. I can't say that I've ridden a really big, good wooden coaster, such as the big one they've got at Cedar Point, I believe. Yes, Haggard's was great. My son, who is borderline coaster rider, just rode it and loved it. Cool. It just looks neat to me. I don't know how wild and crazy it is or anything, but it looks fun. Has anybody been in here? Been down to has been to the Magic Kingdom? Has ridden the Tron, or I don't know. Has it made an official opening? I mean, I know they did a lot of cast member and past member days, but I don't know if they actually had an official opening or not. Or maybe they're not doing it. They just opened it. I don't know. There's a wooden one here in Denver. Will knock the loose teeth out. No, I don't need that. I've lost enough teeth as it is. Good morning, Francisco. I hope you're having a good day, sir. Daughter rode Tron. Oh, she rode Tron. That stinker living in Florida. Oh, you got a daughter living in Florida. That's not fair. Especially with you up there having to get to work in the snow. I really want to get to Universal again, but we can't afford Disney and Universal, so we're going to Disney. I get that. Although I hear that Universal's a lot cheaper than Disney, or it was. Ian, is that kind of hanging true? Is Universal taking advantage of that and trying to, attract a lot of people with that fact that they are cheaper? I have another question for you while I'm at it. I'll let you answer that one first. If it made enough sense to answer. John, how many? Is that all you? I'm going to guess that's not all you harvested this morning. That's just ones you're probably going to eat today. How many are you allowed to get in a day's fishing or clamming? All depends on what time of year for Universal. Prices are a little bit more affordable off season. I'm doing good. Not work today. Oh, that's good, Francisco. I tell myself that almost every day because every day is a no work day for me anymore. I think Brenda's starting to wish I would go on back to work. Universal is definitely cheaper. When we went to both 12 years ago, both of them were a lot cheaper 12 years ago. It's just that we're only doing one. It's going to be Disney. I've never been to Universal at all, and that's exactly why. I never figured I could do both. And if I went over there and didn't take everybody else, I'd be in a world of trouble. I raked up 130 and gave 80 to a friend. You're able to get 150 a day. I actually didn't know if they did them by weight, because if they're all the same size, they ought to all be fairly close in weight. Or if they did it by count. I thought it was count, but I wasn't sure. Oh. Yeah, dang it. How long does it take to get that many? Yeah, John, how long does it take to get that many? And are they at the edge of the tide line, or are they out in deeper water? Let's see, Mike. We're pricing out a trip right now to go to Disney World. Price seems like it's almost double for us because of exchange cost. Oh, I bet, Mike. I hate that for you guys because that really does add to the cost. I know. And if you could get them to move or build a Disney World somewhere out your way in Canada, then we could go, and that would be a deal for us because our money would be worth more, and we could get more pesos to spend at the park. That's not fair. I'm not laughing at you guys. I'm not. I looked that up recently. The exchange rate, it was higher than I thought. It had gone up. For a long time, they weren't that far off. 2 hours low tide off Island Beach State Park. Tony knows where that is. Can't say that I do, but more peso. Isn't that what? Isn't that their basic? Well, let me put it to you this way. I'm just going by how it gives it to me. Let's try and read something. Sorry. Move to somewhere I could go clam digging every day. You like clams, Diana, or you just wish you could go clam digging? Oh, not more pesos for Mike. I'm sorry. I did say that. No, yeah, I did say that. Oh, my God, Mike, I'm sorry. I didn't mean pesos. Hell, you guys are dollars. Most likely the prices that we're getting right now in the days to come will be off season. But it's off season. I don't know. You know, Brenda and I have talked about that many times. Oh, yeah, I bet. Carkey says, Mike, I'm not sure there is off season anymore. I don't either. You know, we used to be able to get discounts, and when we were in the Disney Mickey Mouse Club thing, vacation. I don't know how many of you ever did this, but when we had, both of us worked at companies that were in some kind of a Disney deal where we could go as employees. So we were entered if we applied, and if you didn't, you didn't do anything. But you know, we could get vacations and things at a discount, and they would send us a discount rate book, and we could get it through that way. They called it a couple different things over the years. I'm trying to remember. It seems like they actually called it the Mickey Mouse Travel Club or something at one time. I've got a couple of things on my shelf over there that we got from them for different reasons. And, you know, we could actually pick the off seasons. They listed them. They had them in a chart. And when you went, there really were off seasons. I mean, we talked to a cast member there one time at Christmas, and we were down, and she said, and the line to the women's bathroom was the topic of discussion that day, because we were over near where the launching pad is, or the people mover area, and you know, they had a bathroom over there. At that time, it was backed up around the corner for women, and we were discussing, you know, why don't they open up both of them for women, which they eventually did do that, because around Christmas it gets so very crowded. And she said, yeah, she said, it's too bad. She said, if you could wait around till next week, which was the week after Christmas, or actually the week after New Year's, maybe, she said, nobody will be here. She said, this place will be empty compared to what it is. But I'm not sure that's true anymore. I'm not sure those days still exist. Yeah, and I did. I went south. I don't know where that came from. My mind's not functioning correctly this week. Price to fly there for us from yesterday is $540 each, and I don't think that was a direct flight. Now, is that $540? How do they do that? Is that $540 American or $540 Canadian? And how do they? That's counting the exchange rate. All right, tell Dad we said hi, John. Hope he's doing well today. If you get done talking, come on back. We may still be here. I'm obviously not getting my show covered that I had started out to do. I may, though. What do you guys think? Should I do my show this week that I have slides for, or should I wait till next week and do it when maybe more people will be here, or Mark might be? I don't know. You guys think I'm losing people? Maybe people don't want to come here anymore. Maybe I've got everybody upset about my Thursday night open conversations. The crowds are fairly low on our last trip in July. I think a lot of people were waiting for Galaxy's Edge to open. Yeah, it could be. Plus, they hadn't really got completely back to normal, I don't think, by then. Oh, well, that was 2019. That was before that happened. Summer crowds, August used to be one of those months, Carol, where we could get a discount because it was considered off season down there because it was so hot. People really didn't want to go down there. Brenda and I went down there one year when it was like that, and while we had a decent time because that trip we were by ourselves, it was so hot that you couldn't get out in the sun very much. It just baked your brain. I have to start daily calls with my mom to make sure she's taking care of herself. Different stage in life. Yeah, it is, Ian. You're a good son for doing it. 540 Canadian, but then it's an extra $50 for luggage. Man, I hate that they get away with charging for luggage these days. That just burns me up. That's brought to you by the deregulators. That's crap. And they're making millions of profit. My daughter went last Sunday and she said it wasn't that crowded at UK? MK. And that's really hard. I'm glad she has you. Yeah, I am too. That's a good thing. I live far enough away from my parents that I was too remote and got to the point where they didn't really do phone calls well. And then there was also that period of time when we weren't speaking very much. That's my fault. I should have got over that. But anyway, I don't want to drag us down that path. I saw a I was going to say that. Hey, what was it said that? Somebody said the crowds weren't that bad. Who said that? Well, your daughter Ian said it. I had it blanked out because I got it posted. I saw a video by somebody the other day, and honestly, it wasn't not, but it looked like things were just opened up. I mean, it wasn't that bad. And then when Garrett and them were out at Disneyland, I know that's a different animal, but when they were at Disneyland at night, they were riding stuff pretty good too. Now, again, I realized it was late at night, but shoot, that's our favorite time to go ride anyway. Let me see if I got a note from Marcus. No. They want to know if Death Wish Coffee wants to know if I'm ready for some jokes. Mother Earth is what they're talking about in this case. I'm going to get a free tote bag if I order enough stuff, I'm sure. While supplies last. Supplies have probably already run out. But anyway, I think those days are gone. And you could go down, if you went down the week before Christmas, like between Thanksgiving and Christmas, you got to have all the decorations and the shows. That's just back where they did the nighttime, seasonal parades like Mickey. Well, no, they started doing the Mickey's Christmas show because we thought about going one time. But but still before the week of Christmas, it wasn't bad. And I don't know. We went at Christmas, but we went knowing it was going to be really crowded and frustrating in that regard. But we went to just have fun and enjoy the atmosphere, if you will, and just being there. And we pretty much always seem to get through that just fine. I'm always shocked when I hear about the extra cost for Canadians to travel. Here, it just seems that everything has an added fee. Isn't that the truth? Oops. You ever click something on your computer and then it goes over to some kind of algorithms and code? Sorry, guys, I'm getting lost in thought here trying to figure out how to say some of this that makes any sense. The UK. I was too, Carol. I was trying to figure out what he meant by the UK. I thought, is he talking about the pavilion or is he talking about the country? Anyway, so what do you guys think? You want to see the slideshow for today, or would you like to wait? Martin didn't have to be here. I can talk about it. I just had something on there I thought he might appreciate. But not you guys might too, but I don't want to do it twice. So if he's interested in it, I didn't want to do it, do it with him too. I don't know that he will. The way things are here, you'd think we would pay anyone willing to come to us. Yeah, you'd think. So, a very interesting news bit this week about workers and farm workers and why the blockades, if you will, or the holdup at the borders is really hurting the American farmers. People don't realize just how many immigrant workers do food, everything from the harvesting it to the cooking it. Let's see. And with the kid with school now, we only have available time to go during spring break and winter break. Mike, you guys, how does that work for you guys now? Are they out in the summer, or are they just going year round with breaks in the middle on both ends? Kind of. I don't know how you guys work on that. Oh man, I'd like to get some good fish and chips. The way things are. I've never had fish and chips at the Irish pub over in Disney, downtown Disney, whatever it's called now, Disney Springs. But I hear both are pretty good. I'm not sure which one won the last time somebody did a taste test. I don't know if that was Corey or somebody else, but they both look pretty good to me. I hear you. I've been very reluctant to go on a road trip through the U.S. A little bit uneasy about it right now. Well, except for your car having a Canadian tag, and nobody probably even realized you were from anywhere else, Mike. I don't know how it is there, but it's pretty common here for folks to take their kids out of school for a family vacation. Some people can do that in some places. Raglan Road. Thank you, Tina. There you are. Raglan Road was what I was thinking about. Anybody got a comparison between those two? Nobody has mentioned what the dog show, so I don't know whether to show it or not. We're okay with pulling him out, but we usually go for 2 weeks, and I'm not sure I want to take him out for that long. That makes it a little tighter. Unless you take homework with him. They used to have some programs at Disney, and Jennifer took one. It was kind of an ecology science related thing where they took them out into the conservation areas and the wetland areas that are on Disney property, and they saw alligators and snakes and that kind of thing. And they used to some kids used to be able to take those and do all the paperwork, and they could get some credit in school for them. Some places, I can't remember if we sent that for her or not. That was in '93, and oh god, that was the year I got laid off. And I don't remember if she got to get the credit for that or not. It's okay when he was younger, but it's harder now. And Mike says, I know we could take homework with him on a family vacation, but not spending that amount of money for him to do it. Well, that's a good point too, Mike. I'm sorry I'm here. Just moving slowly, not very chatty. Well, I hope you're feeling all right, Tina. We're glad you're here, period. And Carol says, and Tim, I think whatever you decide about the slideshow is good. I know you were hoping to have Mark here for it, but I also know you did the work to prepare for it. I did, and I'm thinking about going ahead and walking through it because there's some in there Diane and Mike might like, and if they've got to leave me soon, I might need to get it on the road. Let me get it set up if you guys are interested, or we can continue this conversation about Disney and what goes into that. But I used to love to plan our trips. You can ask Brenda if she's still there. I used to just sit and plan and plan and plan and plan and plan and replan because I love to do that. That's my way of getting there early, so to speak. I could get that too. I teach kindergarten, so I don't worry about kids making work. It's definitely making up work. It's definitely harder with an older kid. Yeah, that's for sure. I don't think we ever did. I don't think we ever took ours out of school. If we did, it wasn't for more than a day or two at the front or end of a vacation trip. But it was different in our school system because our kids were going the way we went. That kind of a school year, September or August till May, and then off for the summer, and then they got spring break a week and fall break a week and Christmas usually at least a week. But that's how ours were set up. Same way when Brenda and I went to school, except we didn't have spring and fall break very often that I recall. I could get that though. We saw that one. Not the money for me. I'm not fighting with him to do schoolwork while I'm on holiday, plus hard to find the time. I get that. I wouldn't want to do it either, but I know some people do. He wanted to do his best in school that he's able and don't want to make things more complicated than they already are. That's a good point. Carol says, I love planning too. I don't like all the crazy hoops you have to jump through now, though. It makes it feel more like a chore. Yeah, I hear about stuff, Carol. And I haven't planned a trip in a while, but you used to be able to plan it out and plan for special events and dinners and places. And I'm going to stretch, guys, but I'm still here. Starting to wiggle too much. And that was just fun. And you could think about that ahead and make the reservations, and then you were good to go. And for the most part, I think that worked for about everybody. And then the fast passes started, and when they first came out, I thought they worked pretty good. We didn't always use them, and now that's all different. So I don't know, how that'll ever work out for us. Oh, Mike's got to go out to pick up the other side of the city. Oh, run out to the other side of the city to pick up something. I will see you all soon. Have a great rest of the weekend. Oh, man. Sorry, Mike. Grab those donuts while you're out, though, buddy. And now I don't know. I've heard it's harder to do that kind of planning. And then we also, Brenda and I used to like to get the food meal plans, but I don't think the meal plans are what they used to be. I mean, we used to really feel like we got a pretty good deal with that, but we eat different than other people. I mean, we probably eat simpler. We could go down there and never eat anywhere but places like Pecos Bills and those kind of small places. And there's so many of them down there now that we've never been to. I don't know what I want for dinner tomorrow, never mind in 6 months. That's a pretty good point. But you had to do, I mean, you kind of had to do that if you wanted some of those. We usually tried to plan at least one really nice restaurant type meal when we were down there, and it might be the Coral Reef, or it could have been well, back then it could have been the in the towers. I can't think of the name of the restaurant at the top. Or it might have just been for the fun and the kids at Mickey's, one in the Contemporary. What's that called? Mickey's? No, Chef Mickey's. Which that was mostly fun if you didn't mind the crowds or the kids yelling and spinning their napkins around. We always enjoyed it. We loved to go to the lodge, and we actually used to love to eat at Whispering Canyon. So I don't know. Go figure. Don't forget to buy me flowers, Mike. Oh, see, she's not going to let that dog go. We always take off 1 or 2 days in December for a family overnight trip, but our regular vacations are always during my time off. So that makes sense, Carol. Carol says agreed. Although we tend to mostly snack in the parks and do counter service. Yeah, counter service is the term. than we eat at the resort or from the groceries we have in Instacarted. Oh, I didn't, I never thought about that. I guess you can do that now. When we went last year, my wife couldn't believe I had planned every dinner, but afterwards she was happy I did. Well, good for you, Ian. I always have to take Pepsis with me to drink in the room at night. I'm not a Coca-Cola guy, and that may sound ridiculous, but I just don't drink Cokes and don't like Cokes, whatever you want to call it. And so I usually take a carton of Pepsis down there with me. Here, hang on. Let me back on here. That reminds me, I heard the other day that they're taking out Trails End over at the campground. I hate that. Somebody was going there for the last meal kind of thing before they shut down. And that's true, Carol. When you may not want to do it early on, but when you wore out and you've been through the parks and you're just dead tired, it's kind of nice to know where you're going to eat and not have to sit around and discuss it or figure it out. Now they've taken a fair bit of spontaneity out of it. Does anybody know if they've dropped the? Do you still have to get it daily park reservations ahead of time? And Brenda, are you still in here? Did you hear what I said about the Trails End over at the campground being closed, or they were closing it out? I don't know what's going back in over there, but I personally thought that was a great place, especially in the campground. I mean, the food fit as far as I was concerned for campground food, fried chicken and barbecue and big old breakfast buffet. I mean, what could be better? We used to stay we stayed in the campground a few times, and we actually liked it a lot. If the weather's right. Well, good morning, Michelle. How are you today? You're up bright and early. Well, I mean, it's not that early, but and how's Mr. Scooby Doo this morning? Well, I'm going to do my slides, guys. I'm going to pull them up. I did, like Carol said, I did the work yesterday, and last night late, and I'm going to run through it. I might hit some highlights again for Mark when he gets here. Cause like I said, I got a couple things that I thought he'd enjoy, but I'm going to do it and run through it. Maybe we'll kind of just buzz through and won't take too long. Yeah, the puppy woke me up. I kind of figured that might have been the case. I started asking if you had to go out for a potty break or something. All right, guys. Here's I'm not sure what brought this subject to mind, but you all have a lot of you have dogs, and we've talked about dogs, and there's so much there. We've never talked. I've never done a show about dogs. So I thought I would just start with a group and go from there. And in the process of this, I think I found my next dog, if I ever have a next dog. But who knows? So if you're all ready, here we go. Get your popcorn out. Put your right foot in. Put your left foot out. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, and we'll shake it all about. And that's what it's all about. Ding. So we're talking a little bit about canine companionship, and in this particular case, I'm talking about mostly what is listed as the sporting group, hunting group. I mean, I think they used to be in the sporting group, but they split. I believe AKC has split that up now. So, and those dogs on front are Karelian bear dogs, and those are just some of the neatest dogs. I've been reading about them. That's the dog I think I want if I could ever get one. Probably won't be able to ever get one or afford one, but they're really neat dogs. So, moving right along here, let's and all the usual stuff. Hit the button, sign the paper, subscribe if you haven't. I learned something reading up on this a little bit, that we didn't early on, humans didn't domesticate the dogs all that early, and there were wolves, and I mean wolves were what were out there, but there was a time period, they think, at the early part of the ice ages where hunters, humans, and wolves kind of learned to work together in what they were somewhat of a symbiotic hunting situation. And I suspect that probably meant that wolves figured out that they could hang around, and when after the humans got through getting what they wanted off a woolly mammoth carcass, that they could move in then and clean up the scraps and pick it clean. And at the same time, apparently early man kind of figured out that the wolves would sometimes chase the game into areas where they could get them. So they actually kind of worked out a deal there together before they ever got really all that domesticated. I did not know that until I started reading up on it. But basically, everybody in the circle here, and so many more, owe their existence to that guy in the middle. I thought that was kind of a cool picture. And from that guy, we get this on the left. We get everything from some kind of a mastiff. I can't remember which one. That might be an Italian mastiff. To these little furry guys down here that's leaping through the air trying to keep up. Maybe he flies. I actually printed out. Hang on just a moment. Let me. Oh, I can't get it. Oh shoot. Well, anyway, I won't worry about that. But I'd printed out some sheets, and it really told better. I could have read them and explained better. But we'll survive. But these early cave drawings showed that the early man was aware of the dogs, or the dog as the dogs became wolves. Some wolves evolved into dogs, that they became useful for hunting and that sort of thing, and they documented on the walls. These are cave drawings out of France. Oh, I'd already done that, hadn't I? And I just put these on there. Mark and I probably would have talked about these. You can see a couple of things here I'll show you, though. This bottom large skull down here is a wolf. And you can see the teeth and the size of the teeth and the size of the skull and the mouth. Also notice the skull from the nose down here slopes up to this point where it starts leveling off at the back, where in this case there's a sagittal crest, as they call it, along the center of that skull. But the slope is more gentle. And then look at this domestic dog. In this case, that was a Chihuahua skull. And look how much steeper it is. It's almost got a forehead, like a man in a way. And that's a sign of a dog. If you have a skull and you're not sure what it is, look at that. Because all foxes and wolves and coyotes have this sloping top skull in the front, and all domesticated dogs have this more of a pronounced forehead. And this jawbone at the bottom, this mandible, is considered the earliest actual remnant of the earliest dog, they think, that we found, the oldest one we found so far. And they're going by the size of it and the teeth structure and that sort of thing. It's not the same as a true wolf. It amazes me that we went from a wolf, even though there are some various species of wolves, but we went from wolves all the way down to something like a Chihuahua or a poodle or a Dachshund or a lap, a couch dog like Diana and Mike have, Basset Hounds. Couldn't think of the word. God, guys, I'm telling you what, you may all be saying, I may be getting the old-timers disease already. And this is just some scientific, stuff about skulls. And again, this is a wild canid, I would say, by the skull structure here, and probably by the teeth, if I had that chart or read up on the teeth. Occipital bone and occiput bone back here. There's the sagittal crest I was talking about, but all wild dogs don't have that. It's not that pronounced. Now, some critters, like an opossum, for example, an opossum has a sagittal crest that runs all along the top of his skull. And I know that because when I was younger, I caught possums for various reasons, and I've skinned those possums, but if you try to kill one by knocking it in the head with a stick, you just about can't kill one that way because that sagittal crest is like armor on the top of their skull. It don't give. I'm not trying to gross anybody out by talking about killing possums, but coach dogs is not quite the right term for basset. Couch dogs, that's not the right term for bassets. I thought that was part of their native habitat. Diana. Okay, let's see what I put in here next. Like I said, I put my notes down where I can't read them right now. Okay, look here what I came up with. Basset hounds. And there's a basket full of love and joy right there at the bottom. But I wanted to talk about what early basset hounds did versus what basset hounds of today. Like, Diana can brief us on things like this in a minute that her dogs do. And Diana, do you have, I know I've asked you this before, but do you have the New World or North American bassets, or do you have it's part of their habitat? It is part of their habitat, I know. Or do you have the European bassets? I thought Tim was saying they look like couches. Well, they kind of do. And have you seen one? When they lay down and put their feet just right, they kind of look like a couch. But here's a prime example. I wasn't through with that slide. The basset hound was bred to hunt. Its keen nose and short stature are suited to small game hunting on foot. As hunting has declined in popularity, many bassets have lost their age-old skills, which I think is a shame. But they're not all. They still are out in the field. There are a few groups that promote hunting with basset hounds. Basset hounds were selected not only for their outstanding scenting skills, and if you look at one, and we'll look at the picture in a minute, you can tell. I mean, they're in some ways they've got a head very similar to a bloodhound. They not only hunted rabbits and hares, which a hare is kind of a large rabbit. We usually would probably say a rabbit, but technically they're a little bit different genetically. But were also sometimes used to track larger wounded game. In the United States, the basset quickly moved on from hunting dog to family pet. I had a little bit more information that I can't get to. Do they drool and drip all over when they drink? Yes, they do. I can answer that because Carol said, or we talked about that just the other night, but Diane can answer it firsthand. So anyway, let's see if this plays. I want to try this link so you guys can be experimental here. Let's see what happens. Now, Can you hear that at all? Or even see it? I bet you can't do either one. I wonder why you can't see it. Okay, you hear it? Well, I'm going to try to play it, but you can't. Can you see it, Tina? Well, this is about basset hounds. Let me see if it not see. Why can you not see it? Let me see if I can share it. Let me see if I can change this. I'll have to do it this way and then go back to my slides. That'll also let me get out my... Now let's see if you can hear it and see it. It's not real sharp video.
Early in the morning, after a fresh snow in late March, the sound of 50 basset hounds filled the air in Vermontville. The American Hunting Basset Association was hosting their annual World Hunt, drawing in people from as far as Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Missouri, and New York. The dogs were divided into groups according to class, where they'd be judged on their hunting ability. Although no guns would be carried today, the dogs would run rabbits exactly as if it were a real hunting situation. The first group of dogs hit the field, where they'd be judged on their work for a 1-hour period. Steve Tillman told me more about these hounds.
This is what's called the open class, which means they basically are the beginners. So they're young dogs, and they haven't really figured out, or they're just starting to figure out how to hunt. And as they compete in various clubs throughout the country, throughout the year, they get more points. And as they get a certain level of points, they advance to what's called the champion class, and then eventually the grand champions. So these are the young dogs, and they're still learning. And then the next group we'll send out will be the champions and the grands, and they're much more experienced, and they can run a good rabbit if things work out right.
As the amateur dogs ran, it was kind of hard at times to tell if they understood what their instincts were telling them to do. But it wasn't long before they gave us a good view of the first rabbit of the day. And lucky for the rabbit, the only shooting happening today was with the camera. So with these young pups,
I don't think they saw that rabbit.
Well, they did.
They ran behind the dogs.
Either way, it's always fun to see a rabbit cross an open path, even when your shotgun's at home. As the beginners were wrapping up, I asked Steve to tell me more about basset hounds and how long it takes them to become proficient hunters.
Bassets tend to be slower coming on than, say, other hounds, for example, like a beagle. It can take 2 to 3 years sometimes for a basset. Some basset guys may disagree with that, for them to really come into their own. These are young dogs. These dogs are probably 1 to 2 years old, and they're still on that learning curve. All the hunting dogs, for example, a beagle, within a year, they usually, know what they're going to be doing. Bassets, you have to be more patient. It's just the nature of the basset. Today, we're on the World Hunt, which is sort of like the World Series of the basset world. Bassets over the years tend to be house dogs. They lose that instinct, and they become what we would call couch potatoes. Bassets are lovable dogs.
There you go, Diana. Couch potatoes.
They have lost a lot of that urge, the hunting urge that they originally had. And there's been a remarkable improvement of the breed over the last 4 or 5 years that I've been involved in the organization, of just being able to still identify those dogs that are good in the field and then breeding them back to other good dogs in the field and thereby improving the breed. And that's what the whole purpose of the American Hunting Basset Association is all about.
The hour was almost up for this cast of dogs, and the judge was wrapping up his final scores. Steve said this was a tough morning for the judge.
Wasn't much scoring going on, so it makes it really tough for the judge to try to figure out who's going to be the first place dog and the second place dog and the third place dog. It's really tough to judge, and I've been there myself, and it's not a good feeling.
The final
It's never easy being a
Eric
judge.
Big from Missouri was happy to hear that his dog Remington had taken first place in the open class.
Hey, Remington, look at that, man. Going to the finals in the world.
More than we can expect, huh,
Yeah.
Remington?
That's more than you expected when you came here, isn't it?
That's for sure.
Tell me about Remington.
Remington's 13 months old, and he's the first puppy that started running out of the first litter that I've had. So
Eric was proud of how his pup's instincts showed up in the field today. Maybe soon Remington will move up to the champion class, the more experienced dogs, which is who we were about to go out with. We headed to another field to give the champion class a run for their money. As the guys and their bassets made their way to the starting point, the judge for this cast, Miles, was preparing to keep up with the dogs to score them. I asked Gary Hogle to explain the scoring process while the dogs were released.
The judge's responsibility is to keep up with the hounds, score them. They're scored on strikes, jumps, and checks. A strike is the first dog that opens on track and barks 3 times. A jump is the dog that physically jumps up the rabbit and gets pushed out. A check comes after that, after they get running. If they lose the rabbit for 10 seconds, the first dog that picks it up and starts pushing the line out receives 20 check points. And points at the end of 1 hour, the dog with the most points is the one that wins that cast and advances up to the next level.
In order to keep a fair and accurate score, the judge must keep up with the dogs as they work, which means he often has to run. Since Miles runs cross country, he had no trouble keeping up with the dogs. Remember that all these dogs in the champion class had to win the open class 3 times in order to get here. If they get 5 wins in the champion class, then they move up to compete at the grand champion level. It was a great day outside today, with one of the last snowfalls of the season blanketing the ground and everything around us. It was fun to watch the dogs work, and beautiful just to look around. We even caught a glimpse of a coyote who had no interest in sticking around with the barking bassets. But the dogs were having a great time today, and so was young hunter John Cohn.
You like being out here?
Yes.
Tell me what you like about it.
Well, I just like to be in nature and see the dogs hunt.
Well, that's certainly what we were doing today. The camaraderie out in the field is thick. Steve Tillman explained how that's a big part of why people come so far for this event.
They come to compete with each other, but it's more than just competition. There's a lot of friends, there's a lot of camaraderie, and you know, people we have seen that we haven't maybe seen for a year or so, and we all have something in common, and it's just a good family time.
Although only about 50% of these basset lovers actually hunt, training and running their dogs is a lifestyle. And if you're looking for someone to talk bassets with, Rod Place is the guy.
I'm state representative for the American Hunting Bass Association. The headquarters for that is in Frankfort, Indiana. I'm also president of the Great Lakes Basset Club and the Southwest Michigan Basset Club.
Rod's involvement helps to make the annual World Hunt a success right here in Michigan. Well, the champion class of dogs had finished their hour-long run, and now it was time to hear their scores.
Alrighty, guys. In first place, we have Bomber with 5 checks for 100 points. Second place, we have Yoda with a strike and 2 checks and a minus for 50 points. Third place, we got Dolly with a strike and a check for 40. Fourth, we have Radar with a strike for 20. And in last place, we got Shorty with a nap for 0.
Congratulations, man.
Hey, congratulations, dude. Thanks for getting
Did he say a nap?
Good.
A special thanks to everyone who participated in the World Hunt today and for giving us a glimpse into the world of the Basset Hound.
So what do you think, Diana? You think your dogs will get out and run rabbits? We've had tricolor bassets. Oh, hey, Don, I didn't see you come in. Welcome in, Hitchhiking Bones. Scooby will grow out of the drool a bit, Michelle. Once he gets settled, he won't be in as much of a rush. That's true. He should get better. Unlike some dogs, probably like like your bassets who are just drool machines. Bloodhounds are bad too. They're all those big floppy jaw dogs are just like that. I've seen high school refs that can't run. I still dog judges take their job more seriously. I'm glad you got to see some of that, Ian. I hadn't been able to show you a video in months. And I'm trying to just remember that Hannah and Gabe and possibly Garrett have outgrown the drooling stage. Scooby will too. Carol, no, I'm not trying to be mean, Michelle. Probably shouldn't tell him I said this, but we don't know if Garrett's outgrown because we don't ever see him. I thought that was funny, Don, and that for 0. I thought that's probably a common problem with some of these bassets. Yeah, I like the howl. I like the way they bark and howl. I mean, they've just got that. Beagles are similar. That some beagles are like that. There's several different kinds of beagles, and there's some short dumpy beagles that in some ways look a lot like a basset. I mean, well, they all look kind of like bassets and beagles, but they're not near that big. But they've got a bigger head than your standard beagle, and they bark and when they're on the trail about like these guys do. That dog made the world championship and did a 0. Poor puppy must have become red faced. Yeah, isn't that the truth, Ian? I said, yes, they would. They try to run rabbits. Well, good. That's good to know they hadn't lost all their St. Bernards. Yeah, St. Bernards are drool machines, if that's what you're talking about. It's good that they've not lost all the instinct because, most of the dogs today, let's face it, they don't have to. Most of them don't have to do the jobs that they were probably originally bred for or, used for. So until I see proof that he doesn't drool, we can't rule it out. That's right. That's right, Carol. Until we know, we can't rule it out. He may still be a big time drooler. Michelle, you could probably weigh in on that. Let's see what else I've got here. I've got some more. I know I've got some more good looking pups here, some more dogs. I love this. I thought this was a great picture. I mean, that's a content basset right there. I just thought he was good. Now, Diana, from looking at that, can you tell me if you think that's a Euro or a North American or American, whatever they call them, basset, or because I can't remember if this one said. Most towns still have the instinct, but their humans don't train or foster the drive. That's true too. I'd say Tina would agree with that. She's got dogs that want to chase critters and howl up trees. Yeah, I thought that's what I thought, Diana, because it's more floppy or something. I don't know. Plus, it had that stuck up look like somebody from Europe might have. Them big old front paw. Basset hounds are big dogs. On all honesty, they're big dogs in a somewhat smaller body, or maybe a mid-range body, but they're big, they're heavy, they're strong. I mean, they've got big bones, and they're big dogs in a little package, smaller package. And here, I would say this one down at the bottom corner, and maybe both of these are Americans. And then, here's a pile of puppies. I mean, what's better than a pile of puppies? Yeah, it was the accent, and it was that kind of a border France and Germany kind of thing, or might be more Austria, Germany. It's what you have to listen for in the bark. This looks like a younger dog to me. I mean, he just looks, but maybe he's just an really active dog. He just looks muscled up or more, I don't know, something. But the puppies, I mean, my goodness, who doesn't love a puppy? If they didn't grow up, I'd have a whole basket full of them. Oh, yeah, that's right. I think that's right, Diana. They're same, and they think, and then in many ways they think they're that big too. My wife sure has gotten quiet. Brenda, are you up there? Are you with us? And I just put these pictures in here. This whole idea came off thinking about dogs that, several of you guys have dogs, and we've talked about it a little bit, but dogs that used to be, when they got here, when they came to America, because these dogs were brought, started out in Europe mostly. They were brought in to hunt, chase rabbits, or run badgers to ground, whichever. Actually, dachshunds were more of the badger dogs than these guys were. I'll show you a couple pictures of that. But anyway, I put these pictures in here just to show. I mean, this is a whole pile of big bassets on the hillside here. They're getting ready to go out and run rabbits, no doubt. And I don't see a gun in anybody's hand, so I'm guessing they're just doing this for training or practice, or just to keep the dogs healthy. I didn't read this. Everyone a Beauty, Major G. Hesselin's Basset Pack in 1912 shows an improvement in type over those of 1901. Again, attention is drawn to the heads and ears of the hounds. Well, it's not that great a picture, but I'll take their word for it. But they are mostly looking right at the camera. I didn't notice that till just now. That none of the men are, but the dogs are. And this is a brace of, hunting partners. I want to say I read that they do well with two, and they stay together because they kind of know how each other hunts, and that makes a difference. Okay, let's see here. Carol says, so many varieties of color. I've mostly seen the American ones, I think. Probably. Another thing, we don't think about all these colors, but, Cocker Spaniels are that way too. There's a bunch of colors of them. I used to think that most Australian shepherds were black and white or merle and white. And then I found out that they're dappled and all kinds of different colors. I'm the opposite. My husband always wanted a puppy, but I was not. I was like, nope, not unless you keep the house puppy proof. Well, that's a point. You have to go through that chewing stage too. American Bassets are a bit longer in the leg and not quite as heavy set. Euros are very heavy. Okay. That's a good thing to know. Carol says she'll be right back. She went out to check for a dog outside. Dogs are trainable, men not so much. Good point, Ian. I'm glad you're in here today, buddy. That we need that little bit of Western wisdom. All right. And this is, I put this in here because I do have a comparison, but this is your basic Euro Basset Hound. It was listed. I think they gave a little bit of the breakdown, and they had a diagram very similar to the one Mike posted last week or the other night about Bassets, telling all the Basset parts, like the drill machine in the front, and I can't remember all that stuff now. But I thought it was apropos and funny. Lost my cursor. Oh, there it is. All right. Anyway, that's a Euro. Okay, Carol's back. Can you see Carol? Because I was going to let you see this Basset, and the next one or two are probably a better comparison. Yeah, here's a good side by side test. The American's on the left, the European one's on the right, and you can just look at it and tell it's I look at this dog and I think, yeah, he's pompous. He lives in the big house. He don't have to get out much. He orders his food in, that kind of thing. Now you want another one? How old are yours, Diana? Yeah, you can tell the difference when they're face to face like this, very much so. I gotta get there. We go. Sorry about that. I like that little semi-artistic slide shot there. Not very good, but I just thought I'd do it. And now we're gonna go to some more hounds. And one of my favorite quotes from movie ever says, "My name is Copper. I'm a hound dog." Woo woo! If you remember that from the Fox and Hound movie, back before they grew up and they were friends, you know. Oh, good idea, Carol. Michelle said, "We don't know what our dogs are." Well, your dogs are all American Heinz 57s, Michelle. And you know that new pup, Scooby pup, he's got enough shepherd in him that he should be very trainable. He looks smart. Be a good job for the kids if they were into him, but I was trying to read that. Scooby was Dutch Shepherd. Okay. That's possible. He may be that. He may be pure for all I know. I love the fact that he's brindle colored. I just haven't seen many shepherds that were brindle like that. I just think that's a neat coloration. So Tina, we're going to talk about hounds here a little bit. I'm going to try to talk about your hounds a little bit, because I think your hounds are a combination of these guys, these are Walker trained hounds. And then this guy is a true blue tick. And that's another Walker, different coloration of a Walker. And I think, aren't your dogs kind of a black and tan, Tina? With some spots on them? Kind of like a, not this many spots maybe, but some spots on their chest and this area. So I figure they're probably kind of, we don't go, how'd that get there? That's in the wrong place. Maybe not. Maybe this is what I want to show next. But anyway, Tina, I was just thinking, I looked at pictures of your dogs, and they were more of a black and tan kind of a hound. Ours are tricolored with tan ticking. Okay. Sorry, I didn't see that till just now, Tina. I'm trying to look back and forth. Friendly, Tina said, Monarch Moments. I call that breed friendly. There's a young lady, Polish, I believe she is, who's a world traveler. I follow a bunch of people that travel on motorcycles or overlanders and Jeeps and Land Rover types, and men and women, and they travel. And this one lady who was traveling in a Land Rover, a big longer Land Rover, not the kind you see on their city streets today, but she wanted a dog, so she ended up with a shepherd that in some ways reminds me of yours, Michelle, but it was darker colored with brown. I'm not sure if it's brindle, but she got it when he was about that big, and now looks about like your dog, and he's quick and smart, and she's taught him all kinds of really good behaviors in just a few months of they're traveling together, so they're together all the time. No doubt he will grow into being her dog. And I don't know how much training you want to do, but if somebody was really going to train a dog, it's like police dogs or military dogs. A lot of times the guy that trains them is the guy they stay with. And they used to talk about not being able to, a dog, once somebody left the military, or God forbid the soldier get killed in action, the dog usually was, put to, not necessarily put to sleep, but taken off the line, because they didn't always work with a new trainer as well as they would the one that, brought them up. Tina, go for it. I may be able to pull that over on my screen. Just let me know when you do that. I'll go on through some of these. Tina says retired. Video. Diana sent me a video too. Okay, I'll get to all those just in a minute, guys. Yes, we had a police trainer teach me to train my other dog. It was intense. Oh, I bet. They, when they're police dogs, they're really taught. Now I want to talk about a special breed of dog. Let's talk about mixed dogs here. Oh, this dog, the blue tick hound here, is also the, and this one I don't know if that's it or not, but Smokey, Tennessee's football and ball club, all the ball teams have a mascot is a blue tick hound or a Tennessee version thereof, and there are different variations. And you see him on the sidelines during a Tennessee football game, and when they score a touchdown, he's trained to, they can get his attention, and he'll bay and bark, at the fact that they scored a touchdown. Yes, we had a police trainer teach me. Okay, that was intense. Hopefully, I'll remember and work with him. And the blue tick hounds are neat. And there's another dog that's kind of a local dog that was a bear dog or a boar dog especially when they're trying to get rid of all the feral pigs and boars. And it was called a plot hound, PLOT, and that's a unique American breed of hound. It was developed by crossbreeding, and it's out. I believe it was North Carolina, but you see those in Tennessee as well. So here's the math. You take one of these kind of dogs on the upper left there, in our particular study, a female, and then you cross it with this guy here on the right, who's a border collie, and you come out with what I call a Boudreaux Campbell, which is what Mark has. This is a picture of Boudreaux that Mark and his wife have, and this is what they're crossed with. But I thought this is why I was going to show this to Mark. And, not only could he's known as a Boudreaux Campbell right now. Not only can he hunt badgers, but he can herd badgers into a pen, and you don't have to shoot at him. He's got enough collie in him that he tries to run with. Mark has a border collie. That's not the father. He got the pup from somebody else, but he tries to run with Mark's border collie Hank and herd the horses and the chickens and the cattle. I think he might be a little over enthusiastic, but his little legs have trouble keeping up with the border collie. I got a couple more pictures of him here, I think. Oh, I didn't know I put that one in there twice. Dang, there's one you can get a size when he was a pup. And I know those moccasin feet everywhere. See those shoes Mark's got on? That's what he wears all the time, everywhere. Moccasins that he makes. So anyway, now I moved from that into a dachshund, and I had something here, a little bit. I thought this was interesting. Most people would never think this. Of course, we know they're called wiener dogs, but they're also badger dogs, or a doxy or sausage dog. And we all know it's short-legged, and it's a hound-type dog. It can be smooth-haired, wire-haired, or long-haired. And I've got examples of each. And I'm going to assume this is a long-haired pup. And I really like that color. I'd like to have, if I was going to have one, that's the one I'd want. Oh, they also called them, they were also known as Badger Warrior, or Badger Warriors, because they were so fierce. They hunt. They hunt like a terrier. And terriers are ferocious, and they go after their target relentlessly. And there's some people that think that in the original breeding of dachshunds, there may very well have been more badger than maybe they realize. I don't know what the rest of it came out of, but just because of not badger, terrier, I don't know if I said badger. but it's just a way they hunt and the way they go after their target game. And here's just some good pictures of them. I thought, again, puppies, I like that. I kind of like that tan color too. And of course, here's a really good example of I'm sure that's an AKA dog or AKC dog, excuse me. But look how straight his back is. That's pretty cool. And I never really noticed it, but their front legs look really shorter than their back legs. But this bottom picture it shows what I was talking about, how they hunt. They could get down in holes, and dachshunds they literally go down in a hole after a badger. And badgers are ferocious when they're cornered. They're a pretty tough, mean little animal, but dachshunds would go in there right after them and stay on it till you pulled them off of it. And I thought this was kind of a cool picture. This guy in his boots. This is either a Swedish or a Finnish. I don't know if this is a male stamp or if this is some kind of a hunting stamp that maybe they have to buy over there if they're going to hunt. But I thought that was a cool picture. It's got two wire-haired on it. And over here on this side, you see all the things that they used them for. There's a badger. There's a fox. There's big game. They would run and corner big game. And here's the three varieties that you get. Not colorations necessarily, but the types. And this one in the upper left is a wire-haired. And he looks more terrier-ish in the head to me. And this is this long coat or rough coat. They're called long-haired. And this guy down here is the smooth-coated dachshund. So, that's a bit of variety. I kind of like the wire-haired one. You don't see very many of those around here in this country. You see a lot of these guys and some of these guys. Angie, the lady that did the outdoor nature walk, they've got a couple of these, I think. And these next pictures I just found and couldn't resist. So obviously these guys are ready for the hunt right here. They're armed and dangerous, I'd say. Watch out, badgers. I thought, Brenda, if you're on here, you need to make this is something you need to start selling. Dachshund clothing. But they were really a hunting dog in days of yore. Not just a lap dog. And here's the dog I want. And no, I don't want to go bear hunting, but these are just such cool dogs. And there's a video, and I may show it here in a minute, where they training these guys to help with bear problems, like in the West. And they talk about that too. If you live for example, near the Rockies, these are a good dog to have if you get them trained, not because they're going to be out there attacking bears or anything, but because they're so alert, and they will, what is the word? Alert onto game of a big game, or bear or a cougar, and let you know way before you would realize that they were there. No, we're not going to go bear hunting. I promise. But these are just, read up on these dogs, because these dogs are really interesting. They came out of Finland and Western Russia, they think Siberia area. So they're a northern climate dog, but to me, they look a little bit huskyish and a little bit, I don't know. The tail looks like what's the little white dogs that have the real curly tail? They come out of Alaska or Canada. I can't think of what they're called. Anybody else know? It kind of does, Michelle. It sort of looks like that, but as far as I know, they're not related to any of those directly. Let me back up here and check the tiny Boudreaux. That's right, Carol. That was a tiny Boudreaux. Boudreaux ain't so tiny anymore. Boudreaux looks, he's getting to be about the size of Diana's Basset Hounds. Tina says, we used to have a terrier named Henry. Testy little guy. You talking about the bear dogs being fierce or the dachshunds, Diana? I wish you guys could talk straight into the computer. Funny how the multicolored puppies color changes as they get older. It is. They do that. I mean, it is funny how that works. And what did I see there? Where did I see that? Well, it's called a bear dog, so it makes sense you'd want one. Well, there you go, Carol. See? Okay, Tina, I'm going to pull those up in a minute. And I think somebody else sent me one, I think. And I'll do that when I'm about done with what slides I've got. And I'll pull up your all stuff then and show it, if that's okay. What did Ian say? Unless it wants to hunt Tim. Yeah, that would be a problem. But anyway, I just think these are really cool dogs. They're about maybe half. They're about husky. They're sort of husky sized, not Malamute sized by any means. I think they're. I don't know. I like the color. I mean, it's kind of simple, black and white, but they're just so alert and just so. I don't know. There's just something about them. And I'm going to play a video, and is that all? What happened to my. Well, shucky darn. I guess that was the last of my slide, wasn't it? That's weird that just went away like that. Okay, now let me go in and pull up some supplied by others stuff to show and tell. Okay. Oh, there's Amy's trash cans. I wonder what she's got the trash cans out for. Complete fail on waste management. Never picked up our weekly garbage. Called 3 times for a pickup. My side of the street got missed. Yeah, that was routine with waste management, and they were hauler. Waste management they were down here we had them for a while. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. There's Tina. Let's see. All right, hang on a minute. Is this Danny, Tina? They do kind of look like tuxedo dogs, don't they, Tina? All right. Oh, Doxies are fierce. Yeah, they are. And I mean, and you think about them running badgers into the ground. I'm not kidding. Badgers are bad news when they're cornered like that. They're ferocious. They can eat you up. No, Michelle, we don't have a dog currently. We've had dogs in the past. Our last dog, Brenda and I, the last dog we had was a Siberian Husky. And we lost him years back when I was going back to school and living in housing where we couldn't have dogs. And then we got to where we had cats, but we could just keep them indoors and didn't have to, excuse me, man, stretch. Didn't have to take them out and walk them and everything. But I don't know. Sometimes I'd like to have a dog again. I'd like to have a dog that's like those guys, those Karelian bear dogs. They're like they become very attached. They're like a one-person dog. So, but they'll protect your family. They're very good about that. They won't attack a bear, for example, if they're trained. They won't attack a bear, but they'll back a bear up and keep it bayed and keep it out. There's a video I'd like to show here in a minute that talks about that, how they do that. Anyway, let me show this video here of Danny singing a song. I hear somebody else. I get about running coons. My uncles used to coon hunt a lot with dogs and fox hunting. Most people just do that to listen to their dogs and watch them run and you know how well they do or don't. And they didn't hunt the dogs or the critters to kill them. They only did it to for that part of the pleasure. Well, I don't need to have all that up, do I? Let me see what your next one is here, Tina. I think this is just a picture. I was trying to do this without exposing any information or anything. It might be on emails or something. I guess that's the two you've got right now, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe I can I do this? Were you guys even seeing that last picture? You say you'd sent me 3, Tina? Oh, okay. Let me do this again. I opened my own email here. I need to close that. What do I have shared there? All right, let me start this all over. Oh, you know what? I bet I didn't run the pictures through all the way. Sorry. Who else said they sent me something before I forget it? And I'll go back to Tina's. That one, the one at the start is Danny. Morgan is smaller with more distinct coloring. Okay. Hey Doug, how was the food packing? Who said they sent me? Somebody sent me another photo or a video. Okay, there's 3. There's Tina's. Was it you, Diana, that said you sent me something? And I'm sorry, guys. I'm sending me a video. Okay, so Diana sent me something. Let me see if that came through. Thanks, Diana. I'll get this figured out here in a minute. Technology, you know. And right now it's outliving me here. Well, I'm trying to be careful about, not. I don't reckon there's any emails or addresses or anything like that are going to be seen, but I want to make sure that's the case. I don't want anything to pop up that nobody wants to pop up. I got something from Carol here. Let me see if I can put this on the screen. Oh, this is a good one. Think football here. And that sort of thing. There's Miss Carol's mighty Wolverines against my mighty black bear here. What the Wolverine mom take on a pack of wolves? Wow. Wolverines are bad news now. I'm not kidding about that. I just know they're no joke. All right. Let me get the other one that Diana sent me up here next. And yes, I'm having to go in and out of. Wait a minute. No, I don't. Let me do it this way. I think. Well, right now you're not seeing anything anyway, are you? Oh. Diana, I don't see it. Maybe it hasn't come through yet. I'll give it a minute. Let me see. I'm going to go back up here and see if I can get all of Tina's in. Oh. Now, Tina, all I got was one image, still picture, and where they're laying in the grass out in the backyard, looks like. And the picture of him howling, and I seem to have only gotten one of those, I think. Yeah, I can't. There's nobody else home there. So anyhow, I need to get back to the other part. I'll see if nothing else. I'll try to pull those up next time. Did I lose you guys? Oh, there you are. Thought I lost my StreamYard. All right. I didn't send you a dog photo, but send a picture. Yeah, I got that. Oh, it will. They'll flock in here to talk about Wolverines, won't they? You bring all your fellow Wolverine fans in here, and we'll have a big old time. Yeah, I'll do that. Actually, I did that. I shut it down and brought it back. I'll try again here in a minute. Let's see if they can. Sometimes, honestly, I don't know if they're getting through customs or what, but when stuff comes across the border, sometimes I don't get it. That's okay, Tina. I mean, you're welcome to send them and we'll look at them, but if you can't do it or if you don't want to fool with it right now, you don't have to. So I was going to ask Doug how the food boxes went. Did he say? Because if he did, I missed it. And Michelle says, I tried the towel under the water bowl and it just became a sliding surfboard. Scooby came running, hit the towel, and everything slid across the floor. I wish you had that on videotape. That'd be hilarious, I bet. It reminds me of something you might see in a Disney cartoon. Pluto come running in the house, and I can see him now putting on the brakes and just sliding into knocking Donald Duck down on his butt or something. That would be funny. Okay, Diane, I'll give it a minute and then I'll look at it. Promise. Carol said it's going to be Wolverine versus Tennessee Bear. Well, we might have to try to see if we can't sell tickets to that, Carol, because that's going to be battle royale. I saw an article one time. A couple of years ago, there was a football player that people referred to as a honey badger, and I don't remember who he was. Defensive player, I assume. But they just, he was a one-man wrecking crew in his own right. He was just hard to get down, and I think he was defense. But anyway, so I looked that up because honey badgers are supposed to be one of the toughest critters out there. And I looked to compare them with a wolverine, and some people think that if the two of them were in a fighting pit, that the wolverine would win, and some people think the honey badger might outlast him because the honey badger's built smaller and might be able to have more long-term stamina in a fight. But either way, it was going to be a nasty one. It's going to be a long and bloody battle. So just pack your Band-Aids, Carol, because it's going to be nasty. What's 75K? Who's got Doug, you've got 75K followers? Congratulations. That's good, buddy. I'd have to open you up right now, and I don't have anything open. You know what? I can't imagine that. I mean, I've got so few overall subscribers. Oh, 75,000 meals packed. Holy cow. How many people did you have doing it? Wow. You guys must have that down to some sort of mechanical science. That's amazing. Yeah, good for you. Now, where are those 75,000 meals going? Just to Pennsylvania, or are they going overseas? Or because I know people, there's a lot of stuff like that going out of the country right now for people all over the world that are having, issues getting fed. The Sudan area is bad. Of course, Ukraine is bad right now, but World Food Kitchen is still in there, I think. Oh, let me look, Carol. Thanks for reminding me, actually. It's getting late, so I need to not keep everybody much longer. Maybe got it. Let's see. Got it. And I see, I can tell you already, it's going to be worth it. Answer me one question, Diana. Did you get them to do this just for us? Let's see, share the screen. Ready? Here they are. Hey, Mike, welcome back. I love that. I love the different parts, how they react. Okay, Diana and Mike, tell us about who they are there on which one's in one cotton. No, I'll let you tell us again because I don't remember. I don't want to get it all wrong. Oh, okay. There was a star. Thank you, Diane. That was quite the symphony there. I love it. That's good stuff. Okay, I think Tina might have sent me something else. Let's see here. I got one more picture. Which one? Oh, let me put this one up here, Tina, and you can tell us who this is. I don't know if this is Danny or the other one. You couldn't hear him, Michelle? I don't know. Oh, nobody could. No, some people could. Who could hear them? Tell me. Put in the chat who heard the Bassetts and who didn't. Because I know I heard saw somebody say they liked it or loved it or heard him. If nobody heard it, I'm really disappointed. Okay, so that's Morgan. Were all these I know you foster these guys. Were these dogs out of the same litter? Well, Ian, you can fix that. You turn the volume up. I don't know. I thought I had the volume thing fixed. Maybe I don't. Be sure to check out Zippity Doo Doug, Zippity A. Yes, please do. And we'll be looking forward to Tony's video of the meal packing effort. And I didn't see this till just now, but since they're going around the world where they need them, I'll be putting the vlog up later. I really look forward to seeing that. That's a good thing. That's a lot of 75,000 meals. While it won't feed everybody that's hungry in the world, that's for sure, but it'll sure do a lot. So on behalf of whoever, Mike or Doug, I thank you for that. I'm sure the folks out there will too. Michelle, I don't know. Maybe if you heard it, I wonder if your dogs would have paid attention to it. They all came to the same rescue in North Carolina, but at different times. Okay. So they're not necessarily related then. All out of North Carolina, huh? Well, somehow that doesn't surprise me. I hate to say that, but there's a culture down here about people with dogs they don't want and getting rid of them, and it's kind of sad, honestly. I was trying to back up and chat, guys. Bear with here. I didn't freeze. I was trying to figure out if I had, responded to everybody. I hate for somebody to be in and not. I hate that you couldn't hear that. I don't know why though. The volume was up on my end, as far as I know. I'd paused Chris's. Oh, those are cool. I'd paused Chris's birthday stream from yesterday, or Dave and Chris's, and I see it's still holding there. That's possible too, Tina. You guys have over 100 at the shelter you went to yesterday or this week, Michelle. That's. Are you guys out there still having a problem with? And you may not know, had a problem with dogs that were lost during the fires that ran away and weren't found, or their owners didn't hunt for them, or they got taken to shelters or something by people and maybe not got picked up. I heard something about that. Well, I think it was last summer when the fires were so bad, and maybe even the time before that. Kayla was a dump dog. Did you guys get her just off the street, Michelle, or did you get her out of a vet center or rescue shelter is what I'm trying to say? Michelle, ours was full too. Many pit bulls that people bought and then relinquished. So sad that people don't research about what it takes to raise a dog. It is. And when I say I'm not surprised, there's a culture, still a fragment of part of the early culture down here, and I don't know where this came from. I'm going to call it. I know it happens in other places too, but it happens here way too often, and they release. People will get a dog or don't want a dog, or maybe that dog don't hunt, as they say down here, but they'll just take it out in the country somewhere and release it. That they used to do that with the thought that some farmer will find it and take it up and it'll grow up and live on the farm or something. But that's not always what happens. And then we had a time near where we lived in Upper East Tennessee where people had dropped dogs off down by the river, and so much so that they'd actually formed packs. And there's not much out there worse than a dog pack when it comes to potential danger, because dogs aren't afraid of man, and that's one of the big built-in safety features that we have with wild animals, wild dogs, wild canids, and that's that they don't like us, they don't trust us, and they ain't coming very close, generally speaking, unless we're food. But domestic dogs gone wild are not a good thing. And these guys, I met a couple of hunters that were treed literally by a pack of dogs. They said it was everything from some middle-sized dogs up to like a German Shepherd-sized dog, and they literally chased him up a tree, and they get a different kind of mentality. They revert back to their wolf ancestry pretty quick at times, at least when they get packed up. I rescued her from a shelter. I'm thinking the fire dogs owners were actively seeking them, and people were good about trying to hook them up. That's good. I hope that's the case. And it's funny too about pit bulls, and I wonder sometimes where this came from. But there's certain areas pit bulls just seem to be really common, and then a lot of people get them. And a pit bull, even a nice one, is a big old strong dog. Well, maybe if it's not, it's a very strong, at least middle-sized dog, if not a big dog. And honestly, they can get kind of scary even when they're behaving. Now, I know people that have them that say, there's nothing better, and I've thought that in the past. Thought that that's probably true. But then every once in a while, you just read about one that shoots somebody's kid up just, after they'd had it 8 years and it never blinked an eye at anybody, and then suddenly they snap. And I don't. That's got to be an inbred thing. I mean, they were bred. Most bulldogs were bred to fight, and unfortunately, some of them still seem to retain that need. Michelle said our shelter has a lot of pits and German shepherds. The big dogs don't adopt as fast, and huskies too. Wow, I'm surprised at that. Huskies are such sweet dogs. They are hard-headed and sometimes very hard to train, and I know that firsthand. But they are really sweet dogs, and generally speaking, are not. It takes a lot to get one fierce. Ours would lick you to death. He, a lot of people thought he looked scary, but he wouldn't hurt a flea except for a cat. He was kind of hard on cats, but otherwise he was a good dog. But he was smart, and he was stubborn, and if he decided he was going to go his own way, he went his own way, whether I wanted him to or not. But he did have one downfall, and we had to use this a couple of times when he got out and just wanted to run. We had a fenced-in backyard where he could, run all the time, but the grass is always greener, and he'd get out. But Brenda learned that you could take a couple of hot dog buns out and wave them at him, and he'd come flying. For whatever reason, he loved hot dog buns, so that's how we used to catch him. Michelle said, pits scare me, but I've read are wonderful family dogs. Me too, Michelle. When you rescue, you don't know their history. I knew a guy that had a pit, and he said that, but he went to pit, not fights, but he went to pit bull trials where they did all the stuff that these fighting dogs do. And, pit bulls can crush a pineapple. I mean, not a pineapple, coconut. And they would test them. That was one of the things they would do because they've got extremely powerful jaws. And then they would, put them on a rope. Literally, a pit bull apparently will, if it's trained to do it, will grab like a rope swinging and grab it, and then will not let go. What do you think about that, Ted? Oh no. He's not scary. He's not a pit cat at all. He's not scary, are you? No. He might bite the hand that feeds him, but yeah, I don't disagree, Tina. I think that's true. I think it's all about training and upbringing, but some people just don't get it. I suspect that the dogs that do bad things are dogs that, even though they may not fight them, they still bring out the aggression in them somehow. Well, that's probably true, Carol. That's probably partly what happens. If they're mixed with another breed, then that worries me less. Well, that probably does calm them down. Our dogs will just sleep on you. Yeah, but Mike, if you can't get up, that might be a really sound way to protect your house and your family. Yes, people don't always do the work. Scooby was adopted once in their term because he peed in the house. Well, that can be fixed. That's not an unsolvable problem if you're willing to work with him and crate train him and do all the proper, take him out regularly and do all the right stuff. Tina said coconut, but they can crush a pineapple too. They probably can, but I might even be able to crush a pineapple. Tina said, and Ian said, hi, Teddy. Yeah, he kind of went back down to lay down. I agree, Michelle, they scare me too. I'm just so sad that people are stupid and irresponsible. Yes, they are. What is this? Tennessee Bear Turtles wishes Teddy a happy Earth Day. Did you hear that? You know, Turles, you got his letter right there on your chair. He said, Happy Earth Day. Happy Earth Day back, he said. He forgot about it. He meant to send out cards, and he forgot all about it. He's giving me that woe is me look. I'm sorry I didn't do it, but that's okay. Everybody understands. He has trouble with writing the cards out. Sharp paws, it's just so hard. Where's Shelly? I didn't see Shelly. Hey, Shelly, good afternoon. Oh, my God, it is afternoon. No wonder I'm getting hoarse. Well, Mike, that probably comes in handy considering the temperature's up where you live. True. That's true, Mike. You guys have 2 dog nights where you pull both dogs into bed, keep you warm. Shows us a couple of years ago, they made the pit bull breed a liability and threatened homeowners with canceling home insurance. Is that right? I've heard about that in some places. I hadn't heard about the insurance cancellations, but I have heard that there are places where they've been written into laws that make it not, something you might want to have at your home. Somebody's a handful. I guess that's the new dog. Maybe she's talking. Oh, Scooby. Maybe I thought maybe you were talking about Garrett. Garrett don't still pee in the house. I mean, well, he said yesterday he did though. Really good you stopped by, Shelly. Always glad to see you. I hope you're having a good day. We know that in Carroll's part of Michigan, it's rainy and breezy and not that hot. How about up where you're at? Since you're a little further north. And I'm going to see you, Tina. Keep on watching and wrangling. Is Tina leaving? Man, I tell you what, I'm going to have to get my wife rounded up. I'm hungry. People started dumping their pits because of the threat. See, that's just irresponsible on both sides. They should know that's what's going to happen. The basses get the bed, you get the edge. But I bet they keep you warm. In the 50s and sprinkling. Well, that's not so bad. But not great either. I'll tell you what, guys, I need to get off here. Shelly, I'm not trying to, say hi and run, but, I was getting pretty close anyway. So next week, we'll see what we got. Mark may be back, and we'll talk about something else. We may talk about some more dogs, different kinds. And, I'll pull some more stuff together, and we'll just have to go from there. I do hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for hanging around. Like I said, I realized I'm running kind of late here, and surprised you. I'm thankful you guys hang around. I'm a little bit surprised. Well, hopefully see you around again, Shelly. So everybody, thank you for coming in. Have a great rest of your weekend. Go out and plant a tree if you can. That'd be a good thing for Earth Day. Or we need to go out and sow some grass. I don't know if that's quite the same. But have a great weekend and see y'all around hopefully next weekend and maybe Thursday night. But come on out. You're always welcome. Pits in Canada. What did she say about that before we go? Diana, right, Carol, it's so sad that animals suffer because of crapping humans. That's true. Did she say something else? The basses gets bad. All right, guys. I was just trying to catch up, make sure I didn't miss anything else. Oh, we had so many problems here with pits that you can't have one in the city anymore unless you have a special license. And the dog must be muzzled and chained when outside. Wow. I've seen that. That's because of these stories that people hear and irresponsible humans. It's so much of that is caused by the humans, and the dogs, bless their hearts, they get the blame for it. But they are kind of scary, I'll have to admit. All right, guys. See you next time. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.